Alright, gents, we're going to have a chat about women. Everyone likes to talk about women, don't they? But this is something I see come up on my timeline quite regularly. And so we're going to have a chat about it because I have some advice. And I say this as a man who's dated dozens of women over the course of his life and got married in his mid-30s and has been married for a decade. I have quite a lot of experience with women and I've learned a lot over the years. And I've come to the conclusion that basically, and I really sincerely mean this from the bottom of my heart, you never need to actually listen to what a woman wants. You don't have to pay attention. Like, you'll see posts like this everywhere, right? Woman says that she wants a man of minimum height of 6'2", a job with no earnings cap, takes only business flight, in shape and works out regularly, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and I want Sydney Sweeney on a bed of, like whipped cream. I want to have the entire day. I want this, that, and the other too, but I'm not going to get it. And in reality, I'm more likely to go for something that is actually attainable than go for something that is just a flight of fancy. Like, asking people to list in the abstract their perfect this, that, and the other is pointless because almost no one fits those criteria, and you know that their ex-boyfriends didn't meet these criteria as well. Their future boyfriends are not going to meet these criteria because actually this is not really what women actually want. Because what she's designing here is a statue, right? What she's designing here is like a person without a personality. Notice she's not saying he needs to be funny. He needs to make me think. He needs to challenge me. He needs to do this. He needs to... No. She's designing someone who isn't a person. And since you're a person, you don't need to worry about her categories. Because you are not going to be like her AI butler, or whatever she thinks she's designing, as if she's the main character in your relationship. Frankly, you're the main character in the relationship, and she wants you to be, and you have to act like it. And if you don't act like it, well, then she's going to be like this woman in this video. Now, I'm going to play this because I actually kind of feel for her because she's an attractive lady, so I'm sure she got all of the requirements, right? You know, he's 6'2", he's making loads of money. Let's watch.
All right, I might have to take my own advice because right now I am so frustrated by the fact that, like, I can't see anything more with this guy I'm seeing. And he's a great guy. He's a great guy on paper, great guy in person. And I just don't understand why I don't see more with him. Like, what made me want to see more with my exes? You know, like, it's so... I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but it's so frustrating. Like, he's a great guy. He's, like, such a good guy. And it's like, and then I don't see more with him. It's like...
Yeah, I'm sure he is such a great guy, and I'm sure he's a really good guy, and I'm sure he checks all the boxes. I mean, on paper, he's great. But this is the point, and I really think, honestly, it all basically boils down to this. You need to be the person in charge of your relationship. Now, that doesn't mean in the sort of trad, Christian, LARPing, women submitting to men ideology. That, to me, that always feels very inauthentic, and it rings weird in my ears whenever I hear that kind of language, because it's not really something that can be properly articulated that way, right? But basically, what she needs to think is that you are not predictable, right? Now, that doesn't mean act like a schizo. That means every now and again you will have made some kind of executive decision, and it's just happening, and it's not up to her. For example, you can make the executive decision that you're getting this thing installed on your house. You're going to pay for it. It's yours. And she might not like it initially. But the point is, she's not bored, right? She doesn't look at you like you're an NPC. She doesn't have a set of categories for you to achieve and then find you brilliant on paper, but absolutely dull as dishwater to spend time with. It's all about... I mean, you know, there's charisma is obviously a large part of showing that you have a personality. But the problem is a lot of men, like, the whole, like, pickup artists and game theories and all that sort of stuff, that to me has always seemed well, frankly, superfluous. If you have if you are an interesting person, you have a personality, and you have a direction in life, and you're trying to achieve things, and you're trying to actually make things come about in the world, then every woman I've ever dated, and I'm sure it's going to be the same even for young men now, will kind of fall into line with that. They'll understand, all right, okay, he's doing this thing, and basically you want to make sure that she's worried about maintaining what she already has, not getting bored of it, because your unpredictability throws open the doors of possibility, right? Again, I don't know necessarily how I'm supposed to explain this, actually. In a way, and I expect this to be taken the wrong way, but I can't think of a better way of framing it. You have to feel dangerous to her, right? As in, there have to be lines that she could cross that you would react to, that she can't predict the outcome of. Now, that doesn't mean, obviously, be violent or anything like that, but she has to be sure that you are prepared to enforce the hard lines that you personally set. And if she were to cross any of these lines, then actually things would start going quite crazy. And it's this potential energy that she should perceive to reside within you that makes the relationship not boring, because then she has something to manage. And there are other things that, like this I find totally fascinating, and I've seen this happen myself at least half a dozen times, where a woman, as Gia here says, a woman will train her man to become the very man she ends up cheating on. She pushes him to mirror her, softening, overthinking, losing his edge, and to grow bored and disgusted by what he's become. This is a shit test, right? Every time a woman makes a demand of you, essentially, you shouldn't really fulfill it. Don't let her shape you into something she doesn't respect. Because at that point, what she's doing is treating you like this NPC that she expects to have just as a kind of, honestly, kind of like a trophy husband, just attached to her life. That's really the wrong way around. It's deeply unhealthy, and it brings out the den mother within her, right? What you are supposed to be doing is demonstrating that you are a solar man. You are in command of your life, and if she wants to come along, that's great, but she's going to be the one that changes to fit in, and if she doesn't, there are going to be hard lines that, and you're not going to allow her to cross, and you're going to enforce these boundaries. But moreover, even when she's decided, yeah, okay, I'm happy with this life and we'll get on with it, you still have to feel unpredictable, and that means choosing to do things that she didn't necessarily see coming, but you are committed to. Again, I don't really know how to explain this properly without sounding like a lunatic, but she has to sense that there is a danger in you, and that this is something that she then is responsible for managing. A lot of women like managing what they perceive to be kind of their husband's danger, his dangerous side. And every woman, I think, feels like that there has to be something in this. And this is why women generally just hate nice guys, right? They just hate nice guys. At best, they will use them to soothe themselves after breaking up with the toxic guy, but the toxic guy is interesting to them because he feels like he's in command of himself. He feels like he is at least doing something in the world that is powerful, that is generative, and that's something that women are attracted to. If you are just working in a salaried job and you just come home 9 to 5 every day and it's same day as like every other, and you never demonstrate any kind of spirit, then yeah, she's going to be totally bored of you and will look at toxic guys and be like, I know my ex was terrible to me, but at least I wasn't bored. And that really, I think, is the secret to almost any guy, right? Because again, it doesn't matter what her list is. If you are charming, if you are charismatic, if you have the riz, and you are funny, you're entertaining, you do things that she doesn't expect. You say things that she doesn't expect. You make comments and jokes, and you or you do things together that are unexpected for her. That's putting you in the driver's seat of the relationship to make her feel like she's with you and not you're with her, because she is thinking, oh yeah, well, I've got my perfect life and this man is going to come with me and he's going to be my little NPC who pays for everything and does whatever I want. It's like, okay, maybe, but the fact that you're thinking like that shows me that you're not in any way the sort of woman I'd want to spend my time with. And it's this woman really who is the better of the bunch, because she doesn't seem like a bad person. She doesn't seem like she's got unrealistic expectations. And she doesn't know why she's bored. It's because her boyfriend is just boring. It's because he is boring. It's because he doesn't do anything fun or exciting. He doesn't challenge her. He doesn't make the parts of her mind light up that are interested in adventure and mystery. Right? And this is part of life. You have to do these things. And she has to feel, again, like going outside of certain norms in your relationship, well, you'd lose it, right? And it'd go differently. It'd be a drama, a big drama. And I tell you what, this video is very interesting, because this woman agrees to go on dates with this guy that she doesn't think she's interested in, because he's obviously not, 6'2", and he's not taking her on classy flights or whatever. But it's the way he's handling himself with the relationship that they are forming that is getting her on board, because she's starting to think, well, this guy is the protagonist in his life, and he's treating me like he's the protagonist in his life. Well, watch this.
There's this guy who's been bugging me recently. I've been on a few dates with him. He's fine. He's whatever. I will say we do have good times on the dates, okay? It feels more like a friend thing than anything. And I've told him several times, like, I think we should just be friends. Like, I really enjoy your company, but I like being your friend more. And he always responds, we're not just friends. We're going to be more than friends, whatever. And I'm just like, no, like, I think you're cool, but I think your company is better in a friendly manner. But I don't know if he's just trying to get back at me or whatever for, like, friend zoning him. But recently he's been, like, asking me out, saying, like, oh, let's go to dinner, let's do this, yada, yada, whatever. And then he'll cancel the day of or, like, an hour before. And he did it to me tonight, and that was the second time he's done it to me. And he FaceTimed me, and he was just like, hey. And I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, what time are we meeting up? And he's like, about that. I really, like, my mom really wanted me to go to dinner with her tonight. And I'm just like, fuck that. No, like, boo, boo, boo. Which is fine, like, if that's the truth. But, like, stop asking me out. And then canceling, like, the day of. And so he was just like, don't worry, I'm going to plan something for us this week. And I was just like, don't bother. Okay, don't bother, because I'm not hanging out with you. To which he responded, yeah, you will. Which, okay. I was kind of like, what? No, like, I'm really not gonna. But since I'm not taking it seriously with him, and he's just my friend, maybe I should.
That guy gets it. Well, I bet he's nothing to look at. I bet he's nothing special. He just acts like he's the one in charge of his own life. His life doesn't revolve around her, and suddenly he's not boring. Suddenly she's like, oh, actually, like, this is a guy who, I mean, he knows what he wants. She's not, like, immediately smitten with him, although she thinks he's okay, but it's his personality that is shining through, and the fact that he's taking command of his own life, and she's into it, right? So anyway, like I was saying, don't worry about this is totally irrelevant, because it leads to this, which is worse than being in the friend zone, frankly. And this kind of thing, no, she's not making demands of you. You're leading the life, and she's going to join it, and she'll find herself interested if you just have some self-possession. If you just say, no, I know what I want out of life, and I'm going to get it. And you're not dull, you're not, like, going along to get along, and you feel like you are unpredictable and possibly slightly dangerous, she'll be into it.